The prison floated in the cold black of space, far from any planet or sun. It was not meant for normal criminals. It was a place for the galaxy's worst, the monsters, killers, and creatures too dangerous to live free. The walls were thick, steel, the doors locked with sound codes and light barriers. No one had ever escaped. Until now. Sirens screamed through the hallways. Red lights flashed again and again. Armed guards shouted in panic, running toward the lower levels. Smoke filled the air. Fires had started in 3 wings. Something, or someone, had broken through multiple security doors. Cameras showed only broken walls and smashed control panels. Something was moving. Something alive. She walked through fire without fear. Her clothes were torn. Her face was bruised. Her hands were bloody. But her eyes were calm. Too calm. She moved slowly, not running, not hiding, just walking forward like nothing could stop her. And so far, nothing had. They called her Specimen X. No one knew where she came from. The prison file said she was human, but humans were weak, easy to break, easy to control. This one was different. She had arrived 2 years ago, captured by a bounty hunter. She didn't speak much. She didn't eat much. She didn't scream when they tortured her. She just stared at them. And then, one day, she moved. A guard tried to stop her in the hallway. She snapped his weapon like a toy. Another guard shot her with a blaster. She didn't fall. She didn't even bleed. She picked him up and threw him through a wall. Then she kept walking. That was 3 minutes ago. Now the prison was in chaos. Commanders shouted through radios, "Lock all doors! Seal the main hangar! She cannot reach the escape pods." But it was too late. Every door she passed was already open or broken. The system showed failures across every level. How could one person do all this? Even machines couldn't move that fast. But she wasn't a machine. She was something else. As she moved, other prisoners cheered from behind their cells. Even the worst killers stepped back when she passed. Everyone feared her, even the monsters. She had never spoken much, but they remembered her eyes, cold, burning with something deep. Not hate, not revenge, something older, something human. One scientist watching the escape whispered, "She shouldn't exist." Years ago, a secret project had tried to make human super soldiers. Most had died. A few went insane. She had been the last one, the strongest. They thought she had died too. But somehow she survived. The aliens never knew her full story. They just knew she was dangerous. So they locked her away, but no cell could hold her. Now she walked into the main control room. 6 guards waited with heavy blasters. They didn't stand a chance. In 10 seconds, they were all on the floor, groaning, or unconscious. She didn't kill them. She never killed unless she had to. But she made sure they wouldn't follow. She touched the screen with her hand. The system recognized her DNA. Strange, coded, partly human, partly something else. She typed a few commands. The map of the galaxy appeared. She zoomed in. Earth, blue, small. Her eyes softened, just for a moment. Then a voice came over the speaker. A general's voice, cold, mechanical. "You cannot escape. We are sending an army. You will be captured. You will not reach Earth." She looked up at the speaker and smiled. Without saying a word, she turned and walked toward the hangar bay. 2 alien ships were waiting. She chose the fast one. Quiet. Strong engine. She sat in the pilot seat and started the launch. The prison shook. More alarms. They tried to shut the doors. She blasted them. Open. As the ship flew away, guards fired from the tower. Shots hit the ship, but it didn't slow. She looked back once, at the prison, now burning behind her, and then turned her eyes forward. She was free. Back inside the prison, one scientist sat alone, shaking. He whispered again, "She's heading to Earth. We can't stop her." The camera feed showed her ship speeding through the stars, heading toward a quiet part of space. Nobody knew her real name. Nobody knew the full story. But the galaxy was about to learn something the aliens had ignored for too long. Humans were not weak. Not all of them. And one of them was now free. She had escaped the unescapable. She had walked through fire, through weapons, through steel. The prison that held monsters could not hold her. The army that guarded it could not stop her. She wasn't done, not even close. She was heading home, and she was angry. A small alien ship drifted through the cold, dark of space. Its lights were off, its engines silent. From the outside, it looked dead, but inside, something had happened. The control room was filled with smoke. Blood stained the floor. The crew, 5 trained alien warriors, were all gone. Their bodies were broken, their weapons bent. Carved into the metal wall were 2 words scratched by hand. I'm coming. Back on the core planet, the center of the galactic empire, the news spread fast. The generals gathered in the war room. A giant map showed her escape path. One red dot marked the prison. Another showed the destroyed ship. She was moving fast. Too fast. Straight toward Earth. The Supreme Commander looked at the others and said, "Send the hunters. Double the bounty. I want her dead before she reaches human space." Across the galaxy, thousands heard the call. Soldiers, mercenaries, killers. All of them wanted the reward. The price on her head was now higher than any in history. Posters were sent to every planet. Her face appeared on screens. Dark eyes, calm expression, no name. Just the code, Specimen X. But none of them knew what they were really hunting. On a desert planet called Kalos 9, a team of bounty hunters picked up her trail. She had landed to refuel. The station was small, quiet. She had bought supplies, stolen a fuel cell, and left before they could stop her. The team followed her into a canyon. They never came back. Only one broken helmet was found, melted and marked with a single word. Wrong. The galaxy feared her now. Whispers spread from ship to ship. She doesn't sleep. She doesn't bleed. She walks through plasma fire. Some said she was a ghost. Some said she was a weapon, made by humans. Some said she wasn't human at all anymore. They were all a little bit right. But no one knew her full story. Not yet. She flew through space like a shadow. Quiet. Fast. Alone. She never stopped. Her body was tired, but her mind stayed sharp. She had one goal. Earth. Not just to return. She was searching for someone. Someone they had taken from her long ago. Her brother. He was the reason she had joined the Omega Project years ago. He had been a scientist. Smart. Kind. Always protecting her. When the aliens attacked, he had been taken. She had been captured too, but her body had changed. The experiments had made her different, stronger, faster, and now nothing could stop her. She replayed the memories often. His voice, his face, his promise. I'll find you. Just survive. And she had survived. Barely. Now it was her turn to find him. The alien leaders didn't care about her past. They saw only a threat. A human that could kill their best soldiers. A woman that had escaped the unescapable. They couldn't understand her. That made them afraid. One general spoke at a meeting. She is not just a rebel. She is a message that humans are rising. They launched more ships. Whole fleets moved to block the space near Earth. Satellites were turned into weapons. Every system watched the stars, waiting for her, and she kept coming. On the planet Vorta 3, she landed again. A trap had been set. 100 drones waited, armed with shock nets and fire cannons. She walked right into them. They attacked all at once. The sky lit up. When it was over, only one figure stood, covered in dust. Eyes glowing, she looked at the sky camera and said her first words in weeks. Tell them I'm still coming. The message was recorded, sent to every system. The galaxy went silent. No one had ever fought the Empire like this before, alone, without an army, without ships, just one woman. The aliens started to argue. Some wanted to double the bounty again. Others wanted to destroy Earth, just to stop her. But the Supreme Commander had a different plan. He whispered to his guards, "Bring out the special hunter." From the deep labs of the core planet, a creature was released, not a soldier, not a machine. Something worse. It was built to kill her, designed using her DNA, a living weapon, stronger than anything before. Its name was Phase 9. It would find her. It would stop her, or so they believed. But she wasn't afraid. She had faced worse. She had lived through the pain, through the dark, through the fire, and she had something none of them had, a reason. She wasn't fighting for power, not for revenge. She was fighting for one thing, one person, and that made her unstoppable. She flew past asteroid fields, past burning stars, past dying moons. Nothing slowed her down. She could feel it now. Earth was near. She could almost hear it calling her home. But the Empire had more tricks, more weapons, and her greatest test was still ahead. The hunt had begun. But the hunters had no idea what they were chasing. They would learn soon, and they would regret it. A massive space station floated near a red giant star. Inside, 12 alien leaders sat in a dark room shaped like a circle. These were the heads of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. For years, they had ruled without fear. But today, none of them looked calm. A giant screen showed images, burned ships, broken weapons, crushed armor. It all pointed to one thing. Her they called her Specimen X. The humans called her a hero. The galaxy called her something worse, enemy of the galaxy. "She has destroyed 7 patrol ships," one alien leader said. "She escaped the trap. On Vorta 3. "She's only one person," another growled. "Why can't we stop her?" No one answered, because deep down they all feared the truth. She wasn't just any person. She was something more, something they didn't understand. The Supreme Commander stood and looked at them all. His voice was cold. "She is heading toward the core system. If she reaches Earth, the humans will rise." Another leader shouted, "Then destroy Earth." The room went quiet. "She's not just fighting," the commander said. "She's inspiring. Other species are watching. Some are even cheering for her. If she survives, we may lose control of the whole galaxy." A silence followed. Then a new voice spoke from the shadows. "Let me stop her." Everyone turned. A tall, thin figure stepped forward. He wore black armor and a mask with no face. His name was Mirek, the highest-level hunter, feared even by generals. He had never failed a mission. "I will find her," he said. "And I will end this." They agreed. Mirek's ship launched within the hour. Fast, deadly, with weapons designed just for her. His mission? Find and destroy the human woman before she reached Earth. But she was already one step ahead. In deep space, she flew silent, her small, stolen ship running low on fuel. Her face was calm, but her eyes were tired. Still, she didn't stop. She couldn't. She remembered Earth, her home, blue skies, wind, trees, her brother laughing as they sat on the roof of their old house. That memory kept her moving. She also remembered the day it ended, alien ships in the sky, bombs falling. Her brother dragged her into a shelter. "Stay here," he told her. "I'll come back." But he never did. Now she was going to find him. No matter what. She stopped at a secret station hidden in the rings of a dead planet. It belonged to a small rebel group, humans who had escaped slavery. They stared when she walked in. Some knew her face. Others whispered her name. None of them believed she was real until she stood in front of them. She didn't ask for help. She didn't beg. She only said one thing: "I need fuel. Then I'm going home." One young rebel stepped forward. "We'll help you. For what you've done." She nodded, took the fuel, and left. An hour later, Mirek arrived. The rebel station was empty, burned, destroyed. But not by her. Mirek had a message for anyone who helped her. Death. He studied her flight path. She's heading to the core. He smiled behind his mask. Good. So am I. The Empire sent more ships, patrols, drones, even a large battlecruiser. But it didn't matter. She flew like a ghost, always one step ahead. Sometimes she attacked. Sometimes she just passed through. But every time she left a message, "You cannot stop me." On a frozen moon, she found a secret lab, one that held files on Project Omega, her own past. She broke the lock, walked through ice-covered halls, and read what they had done to her. They had used her as a test. A tool. Her pain wasn't an accident, it was part of their plan. And her brother had worked there. But the file said something new. He was alive, taken to the core planet, made to serve the Empire. She closed her eyes. Now she had a target. Not just Earth. She had to reach the core. Outside the lab, Mirek waited. He stepped from the shadows. "I've heard stories about you," he said, "but they didn't say how small you are." She looked at him, said nothing. He raised his weapon. "Let's end this." The fight was fast, brutal, fire and ice, blades and fists. Her speed shocked him. His strength surprised her. They moved like shadows in the snow. In the end, she stood over him, bruised, breathing hard, his weapon crushed, his armor broken. "I'll heal," he said. "They'll send others." She looked at him coldly. "Let them." She didn't kill him. She just walked away. And behind her, the galaxy watched. Message spread through secret channels, pirates, smugglers, slaves, rebels. She defeated the Empire's best. She's heading to the core. She's not afraid. The Empire tried to block the news, but it was too late. Hope had already spread. She was no longer just one woman. She was a storm, a symbol. And the galaxy had a new name for her. The Red Storm. Earth was not the planet she remembered. As her ship broke through the clouds, she saw the truth. The sky was gray. The oceans were darker. The cities were broken. Once tall buildings now lay in pieces. Smoke rose from far-off places. Satellites floated above like silent eyes, watching everything. This was not home. Not anymore. She landed her small ship on the edge of what used to be New Chicago. Wind blew dust through the empty streets. She stepped out quietly. Her boots touched cracked concrete. The air smelled like metal and ash. But she didn't stop walking. Every corner held memories. Her school. The place she and her brother used to buy ice cream. Their old street was just ruins now, covered in moss and silence. But her mind stayed clear. Her mission remained. Find her brother and bring him home. But she was not alone. High above Earth, 3 enemy ships floated in orbit. Silent. Watching. When they saw her land, they sent a signal. Target has reached Earth. Activate ground strike. The WAMP strike didn't come from the sky. It came from beneath. A deep rumble shook the ground. She looked around. Buildings began to move. No, rise. They weren't buildings. They were machines. Giant walkers, hidden under the city. They stood up. Metal. Legs unfolding. Red lights flashed where windows once were. And inside those machines were soldiers. The Empire had turned Earth into a trap. They had expected her. One of the machines spoke in a deep, robotic voice. "Surrender, Subject X. You are surrounded." She didn't run. She didn't speak. She moved. Fast. She jumped onto the first walker, punching through its armor with her bare hands. The machine shook, trying to throw her off. She ripped wires, crushed the control panel, and jumped off just before it exploded. The other machines fired. Missiles, plasma, flames. She ran through it all. Blasts missed her by inches. Smoke filled the air. Civilians hiding underground peeked, out watching in shock. Some began to cheer quietly. "She's real," one whispered. "The Red Storm is real." The battle raged for 15 minutes. When it ended, the machines were in pieces. Fire burned across the broken streets. She stood, alone in the smoke, breathing hard, alive. But then she heard a voice. A familiar one. Stop. She turned. A man walked from the shadows. He wore a black coat and a device around his neck. His hair was longer. His eyes looked older. But she knew him at once. It was her brother. Alive. Her heart jumped. For a moment, she didn't know what to say. Her feet didn't move. He looked at her full of pain. You shouldn't have come. She stepped forward. I came for you. He looked down. I can't leave. I work for them now. She froze. No, she said quietly. They forced me, he explained. They made me design weapons. I tried to stop them, but they threatened to destroy Earth. I had no choice. She shook her head. You always have a choice. He looked away. You don't know what they've done. What I've done. She walked closer. It doesn't matter. We go together. We finish this together. But a drone flew down suddenly. A voice came from it. Dr. Kellen, step away. The target must be eliminated. Her brother turned. No, don't shoot. The drone aimed. She moved faster than light. Boom. The drone hit the ground in pieces. Sparks flew. She looked at him. I won't lose you again. Tears filled his eyes. For the first time in years, he believed she might really save him. But the Empire wouldn't give up so easily. Far above, the Supreme Commander watched the scene from his ship. He turned to his officers. Prepare the final weapon. On Earth, the clouds began to shift. A dark shape appeared above them. It was the size of a mountain. It blocked the sun. A sound like thunder rolled across the planet. The final weapon wasn't a bomb. It was a living thing. Phase 9. She felt it before she saw it. Her heart raced. Her hands clenched. Her brother stepped back in fear. The creature landed in the ruins ahead, a giant made of bone and steel, glowing with red energy. It had her DNA. It knew her moves. It was made to kill her. And now, it would try. She turned to her brother. Run, find a ship, get away from here. I won't leave you. She gave him a look, sharp but kind. You have to. I can't fight this if I'm worrying about you. He nodded slowly and ran. She turned back to face the creature. It roared. The ground shook. Birds flew from the dead. Trees. She took a deep breath and charged. The final battle for Earth had begun. The air burned as the monster stepped forward. Phase 9. It stood 3 times her height. Its body was a mix of sharp metal, twisted bone, and glowing red veins. Its face looked almost human, but not fully, like someone had tried to copy her and failed. The eyes were cold, empty. She stared at it. It stared back. A low growl came from its chest. Then it charged. She moved fast, dodging right, jumping onto a broken car, flipping over rubble. Phase 9 smashed through buildings like paper. Every step shook the ground. Each roar made the sky tremble. She had fought machines. She had fought soldiers. But this thing knew her. It predicted her moves. When she punched, it blocked. When she dodged, it followed. Every strike she landed healed in seconds. It was like fighting herself, but stronger, colder, built for one thing, to kill her. She jumped onto its back, slammed her fists into its neck. Sparks flew. Phase 9 threw her off with a twist of its spiked arm. She hit the ground hard, rolled, and stood back up. Blood ran down her cheek. She wiped it away. No more running, she whispered. In the sky above, Empire ships hovered, watching, broadcasting. All over the galaxy, people watched her fight. Some cheered, some cried. The red storm was their symbol. And now she might fall. Her brother watched from a distance, hidden behind a broken wall. His heart pounded. His sister, his only family, was facing death alone. He remembered the old days. Her laughter, her stubbornness, her promise to protect him even as kids. And now she was doing it again. He couldn't watch her die. He opened a small device, one he had built secretly during his time with the Empire. A disruptor. It could overload Phase 9's body, but only for a few seconds, enough for one shot. He ran. Meanwhile, the battle got worse. She had broken 2 of Phase 9's ribs, but her arm was bruised. Her side ached. Her breath was short. She knew she couldn't win by strength alone. She had to outthink it. She led it into the subway tunnels. Dark, tight, confusing. The creature followed, smashing through walls. She ran along old tracks, silent now, filled with echoes. Then, she stopped, let it come. The creature charged again, just as it raised its claws. Flash. A burst of light hit it from the side. Sparks exploded. The monster screamed. Her brother had used the disruptor. Phase 9 froze, confused, its systems flickering. She didn't waste a second. She jumped. One punch. Straight through its chest, straight into its core. The explosion knocked her back. Dust filled the tunnel. Metal pieces flew everywhere. A deep, angry howl echoed through the dark. And then silence. Only her breathing remained. She lay still for a moment, then sat up. Phase 9's body was on the ground, broken. Its red light had gone out. She stood slowly, hurt, tired, but alive. Her brother ran to her, falling to his knees. "You're hurt." "I've been worse," she said with a faint smile. He helped her stand. They walked out of the tunnel together, rising back into the ruined city. Above them, the Empire ship stayed still, watching, waiting. The Supreme Commander stared from his warship's screen. She had done it. She had beaten the unbeatable. He clenched his fists. If she gets off that planet, everything ends. He turned to his officers. "Prepare the Doomsday Protocol. Earth must be erased." A massive weapon began to rise from deep inside the ship. Energy built, a planet killer. One shot, and Earth would be nothing but dust. But the galaxy was no longer silent. Other species, oppressed by the Empire, had seen her fight. Her courage, her pain, her victory. And now they were choosing sides. All across space, rebel ships jumped from hyperspace. Dozens, hundreds. They formed a wall between the Empire fleet and Earth. A pirate captain sent a message. "You fire on Earth, you fire on all of us." The commander laughed. "You think we fear you?" But then a new voice spoke. Deep, calm. "You should." It was the voice of an old alien general, once a loyal servant of the Empire, now a defector, and behind him, an army. The galaxy had changed. Because of her. On the ground, she and her brother looked up at the sky. Lights flashed as the two sides prepared for war. He turned to her. "Did you really start all this?" She looked at him. "No. I just reminded them we're not done yet." The sky above Earth was no longer empty. It was fire and stars. Empire warships formed a ring around the planet, ready to strike. But between them and Earth, hundreds of rebel ships floated in formation. Pirates, smugglers, former slaves, old enemies, new friends, all united for one reason: to protect her, to stand with the Red Storm. She stood on the edge of an old human base, high on a cliff. The wind whipped through her short hair. Beside her stood her brother, quiet, nervous. Below, rebel fighters trained, loaded weapons, and repaired ships. This base had been abandoned for years. Now it was alive again, alive with hope. She watched the sky. "They're waiting," her brother said. She nodded. "Then let's give them an answer." They walked into the command room. Rebel leaders stood around a round table. Everyone stopped talking when she entered. She didn't waste time. "The Empire is afraid," she said. "That's why they brought the Doomsday weapon. Because they know if Earth stands, the galaxy rises. A lizard-like rebel commander growled, "We can't fight them head-on. They have more ships, more firepower." "We don't fight head-on," she replied. "We break them from inside." She pointed to a map of the fleet. "The main weapon is on the Supreme Commander's flagship. If we destroy it, their whole plan falls apart." A silence. Then one old human soldier stepped forward. "You want to attack the command ship?" "Yes," she said, "and I'll lead it myself." They all looked at her. Some were shocked, others were inspired. One by one, they nodded. She turned to her brother. "Can you still get into their systems?" He smirked. "Give me a minute." An hour later, rebel ships launched into the sky. She was at the front, inside a small fighter, fast, quiet, deadly. Her hands on the controls, her eyes calm. But inside, her heart beat loud. She wasn't afraid of dying. She was afraid of failing. Behind her, the rest of the rebel fleet followed. Fighters, frigates, even old cargo ships now turned into battle. Cruisers. In space, the Empire ships turned to face them. The war began. Explosions lit up the stars. Lasers sliced through the dark. Ships spun, dodged, collided. The rebels fought hard. But the Empire was stronger, better armed, and trained for war. Still, the rebels pushed forward, because the Red Storm led them. She flew like lightning, dodging blasts, destroying turrets, clearing a path to the command ship. Inside the command ship, the Supreme Commander watched the chaos unfold. "She's coming," an officer warned. He smiled coldly. "Then let her come. I'm waiting." He activated the doomsday weapon. A glowing cannon began to charge, aiming at Earth. But just before it reached full power, the lights went dark. The weapon stopped. "System offline," someone shouted. The commander stood. "What happened?" A screen flickered. Her brother's face appeared. Calm, focused. "Hi," he said. "Remember me?" The commander growled. "Find him! Kill him!" But it was too late. The ship's shields dropped, and her fighter flew straight into the hangar. She jumped out before the ship crashed, blades ready, face calm. She moved through the metal hallways like a storm, taking down guards one by one. Fast, clean, no mercy. She reached the central control room. The doors opened, and there he was, the Supreme Commander. Tall, covered in thick armor, his eyes glowing with rage. "I've waited for this," he said. She stepped forward. "So have I." The fight was brutal. Fists, fire, energy blades clashing. He was powerful, augmented with alien tech, but she was faster, smarter. Her movements were sharp-focused. His were fueled by hate. He struck her hard across the face. She fell. He grabbed her neck, lifted her. "You think this changes anything?" he hissed. "You're just one human." She looked him in the eyes. "No," she whispered. "I'm the first." Then she pulled a small device from her belt. Boom! A blast of energy threw them both back. His armor cracked. She stood, blood on her face, breathing hard, and then she struck the final blow straight into his chest. He fell, hard, dead. She didn't celebrate. She just looked at the screen. Earth was safe, but the fight wasn't over. Above the battle, rebel ships saw the signal. The command ship was down. They fought harder and slowly. The Empire fell back. Some ships exploded, others surrendered, some ran. The galaxy had changed, because she didn't stop. Back on Earth, she stood in the same spot on the cliff, watching the sky turn blue again. Her brother stood beside her. "You did it," he said. "No," she replied. "We did it." Behind them, survivors cheered. People cried. Flags were raised. Hope returned, not just to Earth, but to every world once crushed by the Empire. And from this broken place, something new would rise. Not war, not fear, but freedom. Because no cell could hold her, no army could stop her, and now nothing would break the future she had just begun. The Empire was not dead. Wounded, yes, Shaken, yes, but still alive. After the Supreme Commander's fall, rebel forces across the galaxy rose like fire. Slaves rebelled, old warriors returned. Systems once silent now shouted with defiance. But power does not vanish so easily. New warlords took control. Old secrets woke up. And far from Earth, deep in the black space between stars, a hidden lab activated. Inside a frozen chamber, a figure opened its eyes. Another like her. Another weapon, but twisted. Wrong. She stood before a crowd on Earth, days after the battle. People from every race. Young and old, wounded and strong. They watched her as she spoke into the air, broadcasted across the galaxy. The fight is not over. The Empire has many heads. We must stand together, not as planets, not as species, but as people. Free people. The crowd cheered, but her mind was elsewhere. Her brother walked beside her after the speech. "You haven't told them," he said. She nodded. "Not yet? You think they'll turn on you?" "I don't know," she whispered. "But they deserve the truth." The truth she hadn't told anyone, not even him. She was not just human. She had been made, created, a weapon born in secret. Her earliest memories were fog, metal, needles, voices. She had escaped as a child. That's how she had found Earth, found her brother, lived a life pretending to be normal. But now, the past was calling, and it had her face. Far in space, a small rebel outpost was destroyed. No warning, no signal, just silence. She received the report at night, 12 missing, 1 survivor's last message. It looked like her, but not her. She stared at the screen. Cold spread in her chest. "I need to go," she said. Her brother frowned. "Alone?" She looked at him. "This is mine." Her ship flew quiet through empty space. She followed the signal of the last destroyed base. It led to an old mining station near the edge of the galaxy. No one had used it in years. Now it pulsed, with strange energy. She landed quietly. The inside was dark, cold, abandoned, but not empty. She walked through metal halls, weapons ready. Her footsteps echoed. She passed labs filled with broken machines, glass tubes, old cloning tanks, and then she found the center room. Inside stood a woman, same face, same eyes, but something was wrong. The copy smiled. "I've waited a long time." Her voice was like hers, but twisted, sharp. The real one didn't smile. "What are you?" The clone stepped forward. "I'm what you were meant to be." She clenched her fists. "I chose my own path." The copy tilted her head. "And I chose mine. I embraced the gift, the rage, the power, and I will finish what the Empire started." She raised her hand, alarms blared, tubes opened, clones stepped out, all with her face, all built to kill. A cold wave of fear passed through her, but she didn't step back. She stood tall. "I stopped the Empire," she said. "I'll stop you too." The fight began. She moved like a storm, striking fast, dodging faster. But the clones were strong. One grabbed her arm, another hit her back. She twisted, slammed one into a wall, used the body to block another attack. Too many. She ran deeper into the station, forcing them into tight spaces. Narrow halls. She took them down one by one, breaking pipes, using fire, sparks, whatever she could find. Her body ached. Blood ran from her shoulder, but she didn't stop. Finally, only one was left, the original copy. They stared at each other, both breathing hard. "You can't win," the copy said. "You're one. I am many." "I'm enough," she replied. They clashed fist against fist, skill against skill. Every hit felt like hitting a mirror, but she fought with more than muscle. She fought with memory. She remembered her brother, the people who cheered, the lives she saved. That gave her strength. She moved faster, smarter, and with One final strike, she cracked the clone's core. The copy fell, sparks flying, eyes wide in shock. We're not supposed to win. She leaned close. That's why you lost. The clone shut down. Silence. She stood alone in the burning lab. Behind her, the station began to collapse. She ran to her ship, escaped just before the whole place exploded into dust. She watched it burn from orbit. The past, erased, but not forgotten. Back on Earth, she returned to the crowd. This time she told the truth. I was not born like you, she said. I was made in a lab, built to be a weapon. I escaped, I became more, and I chose to fight for life, not power. A silence, then a cheer, louder than before. Because now they knew. And they still stood with her. The galaxy watched. The war wasn't over. But hope had a name. And it was hers. The Red Storm. The galaxy was changing. Old flags were falling. Chains were breaking. But in the dark, something waited. A final weapon. Built by the Empire in secret. Not just a machine, not just a clone. Something worse. It was called the Silence. A being with no voice, no face. Pure destruction. Created from the minds of every conquered species. Fed with pain. Trained with war. Now it had awakened. And it was heading to Earth. She stood in the Rebel Command Center, staring at the star map. A red dot moved fast. Too fast. That's not a ship, someone whispered. No engines, no signals. She nodded. It's coming anyway. Her brother stood beside her. Can we stop it? She didn't answer right away. Then, we have. They gathered the remaining fleet. Earth's defenders, pirates, rebels, fighters. The tired, the wounded, the hopeful. All stood ready. The Red Storm stepped onto the command deck. The room fell silent. This is not just a battle, she said. This is a decision. If we run, it follows. If we hide, it finds us. But if we fight, and we stand together, we break the last chain. The sky above Earth turned. Black as the silence arrived. It looked like a shadow with no end. Not metal, not flesh, something else. Ships that got close vanished. No explosions. Just gone. Fear spread, even among the bravest. She took a fighter, flew ahead of the others. Her brother tried to stop her. You don't have to face it alone. She looked at him. I do, but not to die. To end it. Inside the silence there were no walls, no light, just floating echoes. She entered through a rip in space. Her ship shook. Lights flickered. But she kept going. Voices filled her ears. You are nothing. You were made. You don't belong. She gritted her teeth. Maybe I was made, but I chose who I became. Her ship broke apart. She jumped out, drifting, falling into the core. Then, impact. She landed, and there it stood. The silence. A tall shape. No eyes, no face. Just a cloak of shadow and smoke. It didn't speak. It didn't need to. She felt it in her head. It showed her everything she feared, her brother's death, Earth in ruins, her turning into a weapon again. But she stood tall. I've faced worse, she charged. The fight wasn't physical. It was will against will. She punched. The silence vanished. It reappeared behind her. She kicked. It split into three. It tried to enter her mind. She let it, and then showed it everything. Her pain, her past, but also her hope, her love, her choice. You are fear, she said. I am freedom. She pulled out a small device, her brother's invention, a memory bomb. It held her full mind, her story, her soul. She slammed it into the core, a flash, bright, loud, pure. From Earth, people saw the sky light up. The silence screamed, not with sound, but with color. The shadows burned. Then, silence. True silence. And peace. She floated in space, unconscious. A rescue ship reached her. Her brother pulled her into his arms, tears in his eyes. "You did it," he whispered. She woke slowly, smiled, weakly. "No, we did." Months passed. The Empire's last systems surrendered. No one forced them. They simply saw there was no fear left to rule. Planets joined hands. A new council was formed, not of power, but of peace. And her? She didn't take a crown. She didn't build a throne. She walked among people, helped rebuild homes, carried supplies, sat with those who had lost. The galaxy called her many names: the Red Storm, the Breaker of Chains, the one who chose. But she only answered to one, her real name, spoken for the first time since childhood: Lyra. One night, her brother asked, "Do you think it's really over?" She looked at the stars. "No. But now, we're ready for whatever comes next." And far away across the stars, a child looked up from a hidden planet. Their eyes glowed with quiet power. They had heard the story and whispered her name: Hope.